Hey, what's up, you guys? My name's Emma, and I'm here to finally actually discuss some stuff about, RWBY, Volume 9, Chapter 8. Now, this is gonna be a little bit weird. In all honesty, I imagine I might, even shaken out of things. But I'm gonna do my best, and just letting you know, this was a hassle, and it is actually RWBY Saturday! So I will be watching episode 9 almost immediately after this is all recorded and up. So, without further ado, let us jump into this. Yeah. Now, I'm going to try to discuss things kinda in order of the episode, though, knowing me, some parts might still be jumbled up a bit. But RWBY is still very clearly reeling from her outburst towards her friends, like, not able to comprehend it, just wanting to get away, like, tunnel visioning so bad that she ends up getting lost. Now, I want to commend Little for trying to help, just not having the proper words or really knowing what set RWBY off in the first place and being unable to handle it. But when Little ends up actually mentioning, hey, we should, go back to the group, I can lead us there, we should actually be together, it does something to RWBY there. She doesn't feel like she can go back, and it leads her to snapping again. It's not what she needed to hear in that moment, and it definitely brings her back to what led to her outburst. It really sent her back there, and, well, she starts asking Little why they're even simply there, and, that Little should go, because if Little stays, they'll end up dead too. And it sucks. It really does, hearing RWBY say all of these things, how she's let everyone down, and just how much she thinks that she's the reason behind all of these deaths. It's her fault. She hasn't let everyone down, but for her, it certainly does feel like it. Now, yes, sometimes she can't save everyone, but she's trying. She's doing her best. Others have given up and just, would have let so many others die. But here she is, still trying. But the wait is too much for her. It would be for fucking anyone. But it's finally getting to her, and she's breaking. She's finally snapping. And does it hurt to see? Having RWBY by herself and wandering into the unknown put me so heavily on guard. I did not see this situation, and I was scared for her, truly and fully. But her running into Neo's imaginary house with all of those clones was definitely my worst nightmare come true. That was the last thing I could have ever wanted for her. I was one who was always like, oh, RWBY, she's gonna be okay. She has Little, her friends. She has people there for her. She can maybe make it through this. She can do it. But I was fucking wrong. Boy, was I wrong. She needed all the help she could get, and unfortunately, she was pushed to a state where, well, she was alone. Like, she was in such a bad place mentally, and Neo, plus a certain cat, knew just how to take advantage of that. And I imagine they very much so approved of everything that went down there. Though I do think the cat has been stalking, so I think the cat's probably been very happy about it. I'll probably end with a bit more thoughts on everyone here, but I do briefly want to talk about this scene and what kind of went on in my head during it. I get why Yang was so vocal and outright just distressed over Ruby's outburst. Like, she's never seen Ruby this bad and most likely feels awful. She wasn't able to help or support her. She and the others have all made attempts to, try to check in with Ruby, see what's going on, is she okay? But it would either end with the earlier moments where Ruby would just kind of wipe it away and go on with her own stuff, not saying anything, or just this world threw stuff at them and they got interrupted. And, while we can, criticize them for maybe not trying to push her earlier on, you have to understand that for them, all this stuff, they're just taking it in. They don't know how to do it. Could they have handled it better? Yeah, but hindsight's 20/20. And, now that they actually can look back on it, they definitely wish, probably, that they were able to do things differently, maybe prioritize it a bit, but, they can't really change much about what happened at this point. With Weiss kind of, standing up and being the voice of reason here for what could have maybe went through Ruby's head after Yang just was like, why didn't she talk to me and stuff like that? It makes sense, Like, while I think any of them could have really, if they tried their best to think about it, it is cool to see that, Ruby's partner, who, has been really, taking in a lot of Ruby's support, is there to be like, well, maybe she felt like she couldn't. Maybe, maybe it's just she felt like she couldn't do that, like, say anything she was feeling, She's always been there to lift others up, and just couldn't feel like she could go and do the same. It's, others before herself, she can be on the back burner as long as she can take care of her team and all the other people. And you do kind of see maybe the seed for this thought process get planted all the way back in Beacon, Season 1. When she, right after she spoke with Ozpin after Weiss's outburst, she definitely gets this mindset that it's about your team first and yourself second. This is stuff she said to John. But it is what it is. This is just the reality of a fucked up situation built up to the max. But I just wish they were able to get to Ruby faster. So, we are moving on to the tea party. Here might be a little bit more difficult for me to talk about. Now, I'll definitely be talking more on Neo, but I'm gonna go over, the situation in the scene first. All of it sucked to watch. It was great, but I'm telling you, every rewatch honestly gets harder and harder for me to do. The level of torment that Neo puts Ruby through here is just sick. It's sick. And, while I may have more thoughts on it, I'm just gonna leave it at that. She may want Ruby to, feel immense pain like that she felt when Roman was ripped away from her, but goddamn, was that a lot? But getting to see Pyrrha and Penny again, while I wish I could have enjoyed it, it was so trippy, especially with their out-of-place actions and words. It really throws you off, makes you feel discomforted by just the sheer difference in how they spoke and they acted, and even kind of maybe what they would have actually felt towards the situation, and then Neo's clones. And with Pyrrha, she made her own choice. Ruby had no control over that situation, and even if she would, maybe she could have got there a split second faster, but that's all of us assuming that she would have actually been able to help Pyrrha fend off Cinder. We don't know if she could have done that. Even if they both made it there, we have no idea if the outcome would have been different, so it's just a bad situation. And we have Penny. We all know she doesn't and would never blame Ruby for anything that's happened, let alone her two deaths. She went out with a fucking smile. Not that Ruby knows, but I wish she did. But having all of these clones telling RWBY all her fears and beliefs, just, you see it visibly just eat at her and break her down. And then going briefly back to the beginning, even if RWBY, talked about how Roman actually went out, that it was a fucking Grimm that just snatched down, Neo would not have just taken it, even if RWBY was to sit there and apologize for it. She is running off of fucking anger and hatred. You're not gonna see her just give up on that. And especially because later on, we see just how much this hatred and want for revenge just was basically Neo's current identity. Now, I really do wish I could discuss the action scenes a bit more than what I'm about to do, but watching RWBY barely be able to put up a fight against them and defend herself guts me. She's just brutally overwhelmed by the entirety of that situation. It's so fucking unfair. It's like, that's 7 people, technically, she would have to guard herself against, even though after the first shot, Neo kind of just watched, but still, even then, she was a threat, and RWBY just couldn't handle it. Ozpin beating her down, yelling all the things she feels that she has done and failed to do, is the worst. Is the actual worst. Because, she's fucking 17. You should never be in that situation, and especially never have been put there at fucking 15. It's not something even a grown person should really have to be put in, let alone that child. And, she is taking the responsibility so hard, and it sucks. Oz, has reasons. I get it, but, God, do I not excuse him for choosing to pull a 15-year-old into this endless war that he has no idea how to stop. He has no idea how or if it will stop, and it's just awful to see and to live with, and give me a moment. But enough on that. Now, you may have noticed I haven't really been talking about Little. Where's Little been? Well, that's a sore spot. Neo, why did you have to crush my mouse? I get why, and I felt that impact, but it was such a fucking awful way for Little to have been killed off. It literally made me full body gasp seeing that. And I think that's literally one of the worst parts for me in rewatching, is just Little getting crushed, because I'm crying over it right now as we speak. But let's not get sidetracked. RWBY finally going to, she's had enough. She goes to fend off the Ozpin clone from further abuse, and only ends up with more pain, as now she's staring at clone Oscar, who, she is just taken out. She's just, she was just defending herself, but now she's sitting there looking at Oscar, who's now dead. And his body's just left there. That is just so ominous and awful to look at. Just him being dead. And, Neo changing into everyone to just look down at Oscar. It's so fucked. So fucked. It does its point, but God. And this, finally puts RWBY on the edge. Which Cece, who's been, not involved in any of this at this point, takes no time to jump in and claim what they've wanted all along. A human host. Now, I do have many thoughts and questions about this cat. I'm assuming it's makers of the gods at this point. But what purpose was the cat supposed to have, like, in the Ever After as a whole, and what was, like, why was it cursed with curiosity? Like, I need to know the end goal. What was the Ever After supposed to be like? What could have led it to maybe being a failure like the gods thought of Remnant? I'm very intrigued by all of that. But before Cece can get away with, anything, dear precious little reveals themselves to help Ruby out. And, I will admit to some levels of fear when Little revealed themselves, but I wasn't ready. But this did give Neo a chance to knock the cat off of Ruby, and, you know, for a minute gave me and Little this moment to be like, maybe we can get Ruby, you know? I'm sitting there like, come on, Little, you can do it. Little sitting there just trying to get Ruby to actually, you know, maybe get up and we can get out of here, but Little just couldn't do it. There wasn't enough time, and gone. Now, genuinely watching Little get crushed, not only did me in, but especially Ruby, and that look on her face when that happened, I think will haunt me a little bit. But Neo had just proven Ruby's earlier outburst right. If you stay with me, you'll get killed too. And, god damn it, Neo. Why'd you do it? Why'd you fucking do it? Anyways, now I'm pulling out some paper script, but, I genuinely don't have the words to describe how that scene makes me feel. Like, her mortified eyes as the teapot is just simply pushed into her face will haunt me. Getting the screenshot of it haunts me. And it's very potent and visible. Now, Neo's triumphant smile and smirk, like, just fuck off. You know, I don't hate Neo. I think I do say it because I'm upset in the moment. I don't hate Neo. Contrary to popular belief, I actually like Neo. Can't condone her actions, though. And I am going to be reading Roman Holiday. I've heard bits and pieces of the story, so I know a tiny bit, but, you know, doesn't hurt to actually read it and get full context. But that smirk, oh, that infuriated me to no end, to where I did taunt her a little bit later on. But Ruby, like, so Wise Blake Yang and company coming in and just Ruby looking at them as she chose to erase herself is awful. I truly believe she thought they were all just fakes that Neo created to just, you know, give her this fucked up end to look at and just take in. You know? It's just awful to, you know, look up and, you know, see people you do care about, but still go through with it, because you don't even know if they're real. And let's say if she did believe they were real, would that have changed anything? She was so just battered at that point. The topic of depression and suicide are super touchy for me. So, you know, seeing this really sucked, and it's definitely why I think my reaction kind of focused on that more than anything, because it kind of was too real. So, it got to me. But we're gonna move back from Ruby to actually talk about Neo in this situation finally, because her reaction was something to take note of. She was, like I said, she was hell-bent on revenge. Do I think it was misplaced? Fuck yes. But that doesn't take away from the fact that she thought this would make her feel better. In her mind, you know, because it was running her, she didn't have to think about all the sad shit. She could just be angry. She can just go and try taking revenge. But she didn't think past that. She didn't think, oh, once I finally do get this revenge, you know, what would happen. And, now that she's got what she wanted, she just breaks. No more thoughts. She has nothing to protect herself from the reality of what had happened and what she had lost. Revenge didn't make Roman return, and it certainly didn't make happiness return. She had nothing, not even someone to hate. And, it's fucked seeing that. Like, there's so many moments. Kudos to anyone who could rewatch that episode with a straight face. I could never. Now, genuinely, the cat is fucked up. The cat can... I gave the cat a chance. I did, too, have a moment of, like, maybe the cat will actually help Ruby. I was false, but I had that hope. But no. The cat stealing Neo's body, taking advantage of her, like, body and mind coming to realization now that she now doesn't have anything to, like, keep herself distracted, nothing to take the pain away, is awful. I could never... Imagining the situation where you literally have no control over your body. Like, I don't know. Maybe, Neo is now unaware. She doesn't know. But if she is aware, and even if she isn't, but if she's aware of what's going on and she can see what's happening and stuff like that, it's fucked. The horrors of not being able to control what you yourself are doing. No. I could never imagine that, and I don't want to imagine that. But what do I know? Other than just... we need to change this. Now, I don't know if we can save Neo. The optimist in me wants to say maybe we can. And maybe in trying to, find the tree to get to the cat, we can get Neo, because we're trying to, at this point, maybe get Ruby back. Because, she's taken by the tree, ascending all this. We don't know what's going to happen, and she may or may not come out a different person. We don't know. And little, whatever you ascend to, little, you'll still be my champion, and I will still fucking love you. But damn, I don't know how we can save Neo. This, like I said, Optimus talking here. I don't know how we physically can, but I'm here to give it a shot. I want us to try. Even though, there would be a lot of, probably heated discussions and probably a lot of negative emotions towards the situation from most of the party, given what they just saw and witnessed. But I think it's a good chance to maybe make her a reluctant ally, more like acquaintance. But I do think if there is a possibility of saving Neo, we should take it. As much as I think I'm going to look at her and always have the scene of her literally brutally crushing a mouse that's done nothing. But there's a chance, And CC, I will gladly punch you myself, if they can give me the option. I don't really want to punch Neo to punch you, so I hope it's whenever you leave Neo's body. Hopefully you do, because she doesn't deserve that type of torment for the rest of her life. If she's alive, I don't know. I don't know how him taking over the body works, so I'm just working with what I got. But I don't know. Maybe Ruby will end up seeing Summer or something like that. We don't know. Maybe the blacksmith will even come back. We have no ideas. I don't know what's going to happen with Little. Little was, taken into the tree area with Ruby. So there's that. And I'm worried to see the group's reaction to once they kind of process what the hell they just saw. Because Yang was in a god-awful state. And, you know, so was Weiss, and Blake was just trying to make sure that Yang didn't just collapse onto the floor. And it's gonna suck, because they all technically, in that moment, have lost something very important in different ways, and if I was them, I couldn't. I'm just gonna be honest. I couldn't. So, yeah. Anyways, I know this video is weird and definitely different than even how I planned to do it, but, you know, I gave it my best. I don't do thoughts like this unless it's after just watching the episode, but, you know, at that time I was not in the right state to do that, so I decided to give it a shot here. It was still jumbled, and I may have wrote a script for this, but leave it to me to kind of go off script a lot. Trust me, there was a lot less nows and like other things that I just added in from talking. But no. Anyways, let me know your full thoughts, and I'll, you know, have the reaction for 9 up tomorrow. I don't know what it has in store for me quite yet, but I will after editing this. And well, maybe the discussion will let you know how I feel about the matter. But anyways, hope you have a great day or night whenever the heck you're watching this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.